Expecting to find Jesus, some of the women go to the tomb with embalming spices and encounter an empty tomb. Our gospel lesson for today comes from Luke's gospel, the 24th chapter, beginning with the first verse. Glory to you, O Lord. On the first day of the week at early dawn, they came to the tomb, taking the spices that they had prepared. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb, but when they went in, they did not find the body. While they were perplexed about this, suddenly two men in dazzling clothes stood beside them. The women were terrified and bowed their faces to the ground. But the men said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here, but has risen. Remember how Jesus told you while he was still in Galilee that the Son of Man must be handed over to sinners and be crucified and on the third day rise again?" Then they remembered his words, and returning from the tomb, they told all this to the 11 and to all the rest. Now it was Mary Magdalene and Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and the other women with them who told this to the apostles. But these words seemed to them an idle tale, and they did not believe them. But Peter got up and ran to the tomb. Stooping and looking in, he saw the linen cloths by themselves. Then Peter went home, amazed at what had happened. Here ends our gospel lesson on this Easter Sunday. Praise to you, O Christ. You may be seated. Will the children please come on up and help me out with the children's sermon? Can you come on up? Did you? Good morning. Come on, you got new glasses? They look nice. They look nice. Come on up. There is a lot of kids here, huh? Yeah. Come on up. So, can you guys help me out for a few minutes today? Okay, what's today? Easter Sunday. Okay. You know what Easter's all about?
Because you get Easter. You get Easter stuff and Easter baskets.
Oh, you get Easter baskets and Easter stuff. Okay. Well, what else is Easter about? Really? So it's about when Jesus died on the cross? And then what happened? He rose from the grave. And so we celebrate Jesus being risen today, is that right? Then on Easter they hide the eggs and eat their Easter bunnies. Yeah. Wow. Well, today is Easter, and today is the day we remember the tomb being empty and Jesus being raised from the dead, and we give thanks for that because we are promised heaven as a gift. Why is there M&Ms? I'm getting to that. Slow it down, pump the brakes. Yeah, it's not a quiz, it's a saying. Okay, I think we're moving on to M&Ms. I had 12 more minutes of children's sermon stuff, but I'm not going to do it now. No, I guess you guys have had M&Ms before, right? Yeah, you kind of know the deal. Yeah, M&M Easter bunnies. Yeah, but you know what? What letter is Pastor making there? M. Well, do you know that the M is for mercy, a gift that God gives to all people because his Son now lives. So that's mercy. Now, what letter is that? Can you see that? No, what is that? Okay, let me turn it. Okay, now do it. E. Is that an E? Yeah. E is for everlasting, the love that God gave. Now, what number is that? What number? 3? 3 is for the third day Jesus rose from the grave. And what about this number? Okay, this thing's melting in my hand now. All right. What number, or what letter is that? W is for worship as we stand here today with our hearts filled with hope on this Easter Sunday. So what I'd like to do, if it's okay with all of you, is to give you some M&Ms. Is that okay? And I want you, for every M&M you eat, I want your parents to read this to you. You're welcome. Deaconess Deb is going to pass us out with Pastor Jake. And may you know that Jesus is risen. It's good news, and each of you is promised the gift of heaven. It's a beautiful day. Thanks for coming up. And you guys can return to your seats once you get your M&Ms, okay? Thank you. Yeah? Well, you know what? You guys pay attention now. I know you will. I know you will. Thanks, guys. Oh, you know what? Pastor Jake's right here. He has some. Man, they can be pushy. Whatever we got to do. Wow. You know, I got to be honest with you. I cannot tell you how out of sorts I am. I am totally off my game. I am totally out of my routine. And the biggest reason why is because I haven't had any TNT. That means Todd time. I need Todd time, and I haven't had any. Because you see, for the last 8 days, Pam and I have been watching our 11th-month-old grandson, Jordy. And it's all about Jordy. And Jordy's schedule. And Jordy's routine. It doesn't matter what Papa's routine and schedule is. No! It's all about Jordy and his routine, his snack time, his feeding time, his play time, his diaper changing time, and I mean the dirty, messy ones too. It's about Jordy's playtime. It's about everything Jordy. And so I'm totally out of whack. I'm off my game. I'm not in my routine. I'm just not here today. And then on top of that, this week is Holy Week here at church, so I've been just a teeny weeny busy. You know, we had Palm Sunday worship last Sunday. Then we had Maundy, Thursday worship on Thursday. And then on Good Friday, we had 3 worship services on Good Friday. And then back on Wednesday, I had to go see Michelle to give me a haircut because it's not easy looking man pretty. And then we have Easter Sunday and our services today. And I am out of my routine. I am out of sorts. And I don't know what to do. And I just have one thing I got to tell you. You ready? I don't have a sermon. Yeah, I don't have one written. Yeah, it's been, like I said, I've been out of sorts. I've been out of my routine. Been busy. Because it's all about Jordy. You know, haven't had time. So what I decided to do is that I'm just going to say the same thing that the angels told the women who went to the tomb from Luke. Here's the message that they gave to the women. He is not here. He has risen. That's it. Amen.
Todd.
What?
I think people are expecting a little more than that.
Excuse me? I think if God's army of angels came to the empty tomb to give the women a message, I think if that's good enough for God, that's good enough for me, Jake.
Todd, you're not God.
You know what, Jake? You know what I really was hoping in my Easter basket this year? You not annoying me.
The Easter Bunny doesn't always give us what we deserve.
And besides, Jake, what do you want me to say? That Mary and Joseph were off their routine when they had to travel to Bethlehem for the census and Mary gave birth to Jesus there? And what do you want me to say, Jake? That Mary and Joseph were out of sorts for a couple of days as they were looking for Jesus because they couldn't find him when he was 12 years old, and they eventually found him in the temple? And what do you want me to say, Jake? That Mary was off her game when she was at the wedding and Jesus turned water into wine, and later on that hillside when there's the big picnic and Jesus fed 5,000 people and did another miracle? And what do you want me to say, Jake? That Mary's life and routine were interrupted when she realized that Jesus turned the tables over in the temple, and that Jesus was washing the disciples' feet on a Thursday, and then he went to a garden and prayed, and then he got arrested, and then he was before Pilate? Besides, Jake, what do you want me to tell everybody who's here today? That on that day, on that Good Friday, that day, Jesus' life was turned upside down when he saw his mother crying as she was getting ready to grieve her baby boy dying. Her life at that moment was changed, Jake. That's what you want me to tell everybody here? Is that it? Because you know what? All of that leads to our gospel lesson today, Jake. Do you know that? The women were going to the tomb. Mary Magdalene and Joanna and Mary, the mother of James, and the other women, they were all going to the tomb because that was part of the schedule. That was part of the routine. That's what they were supposed to do. They had prepared spices, and they're getting ready to go do proper burial. That was the routine, but you know what happened? When the women got to the tomb, guess what, Jake? Guess what? They realized that the routine was no longer the routine because they heard the angel say to them, "He is not here. He has risen." That was a game changer. Everything changed after that moment for those women that day. They were out of sorts. They were out of their routine. Their structure and scheduled events were blowing up. Everything was out of whack forever. You see, as Easter people, the fact that the stone was rolled away and the tomb is empty, what that means for us as God's people is that the routine of the ordinary, the routine of daily life, is no longer the routine. As Easter people, we have a new normal that we're all trying to adjust to. The promise of life over death, and the promise that God is going to roll away those stones in those dead spot areas of our lives and give us hope. The routine is no longer the routine. We have a new normal as God's people. In those places in our lives where there's the stale air of decay, God breathes new life and hope. We have been promised not only life in heaven after death, we have been promised healing in those dead spots in our lives. So Jake, you just want me to tell everybody that there's a new normal as Easter people?
I think you just did.
May you hear the whisper of the angels, "He is not here, but has risen." Amen. If you are able, will you please stand?